wow, just wow. That is all I can say about the Blizz-Con that is happening right now. We thought this Blizz-Con might not be all that exciting. Legion just released, so they might say a thing or two about the next few patches. We might have a little bit more information about Hearthstone. There might be some hints at something cool with Diablo, but wow, holy crap. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Today I want to talk a little bit about Blizz-Con. We are going to talk a little bit about World of Warcraft patch 7.1.5, which is a minor patch, but with so much stuff that it brings to the game, that's gonna be insane. Now, there's a lot to talk about. There's a bunch of different games, a bunch of different updates. There's a lot to talk about, like Overwatch, but we'll stick to World of Warcraft because this is where it really matters. So the patch 7.1 is going to be the next very minor patch, a lot like patch 6.2.3 was. What they liked about patch 6.2.3, where it was the Warlord's genre, so there's really not a lot to like. They like the revolve around the system of new rewards and evergreen content. They like the idea that they added the Moose Mount, Valor Points, and Time Walking, which was something that players could do for a little bit while waiting for the next expansion, while dreadfully trying to enjoy whatever scraps of Warlords of genre we had at the time. Let's be honest, all of us enjoyed it with friends, but as a standalone, the expansion was just crap. So this is a minor patch, and this patch literally packs more than patch 6.1 ever could pack. Remember the patch 6.1, the major patch for Warlords genre that brought in, oh, I don't know, something as amazing as the selfie cam? Yeah, let's forget about that completely and take a look at what patch 7.1.5 is going to offer. The first thing we have for patch 7.1.5, and we're going to start it very slowly, just so we can build the hype up. They're adding Mr. PANDARIA time walking dungeons, so 6 extra dungeons that we can rerun all over again at max level content. I'm hoping that they up the ante and the difficulty on those dungeons, at least with like some of the mobs and how hard they hit, so that it can be as enjoyable. And they also have said that we are not going to be doing Warlords of General dungeons right now. I'm pretty sure no one's excited about that. We're going to do the expansion before the last one. Which, Blizzard, I gotta say, very good move, good job. It looks like you guys are listening to player feedback, and trust me when I say this, if we can hold off this Warlords of General Dungeons until, I don't know, how about never? And just make sure they never see the light of day again? That'd be great. In 7.1.5, they're bringing back Brawler's Guild with a lot more new fights, a different shirt, and a basilisk mount as reward, so if you've been a big fan of the Brawler's Guild and want to test out your prowess as a DPS, tank, or a healer in these Brawler challenges, feel free to do so. I've never really done Brawler's Guild in the past, but I think with everything that's happening in Legion, I think I'll give Brawler's Guild a try. They are also adding a bit of a throwback for vanilla players, the Anchorage Remembrance Day, which is a micro holiday, which is going to be one of the many micro holidays in the game. There's supposed to be a lot like holidays that we have in the game, with the Winter's Veil, with the Halloween holiday, whatever they call it, but they're supposed to last only a few days. They won't have crazy rewards, so if you miss out those holidays, trust me, you won't be missing out too much. But they do offer you a lot more content, and this is small scale content that happens only for a little bit that a few players can do, maybe for some kind of vanity rewards, maybe some pieces of gear for like a catch-up mechanic, but it's not supposed to be something that gets you ahead of the game in any way. And it also says that they want to update Blade's Edge Arena. No gameplay changes, no visual updates, they just want to have an arena with a built-in voice announcer, and the voice announcer is supposed to call some events. I'm pretty sure that's not for the arena, and the voice announcer will say, "Oh no, the rogue is using a adrenaline rush, watch out," and literally calling out to the other team what is happening. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna say like, "Oh, double kill, oh, that warlock had it," stuff like that, just for the fun of it. Now for the very meat and bones of this that you guys been waiting for, patch 7.1.5 will also bring class updates, even more class updates than what we've had so far, allowing the teams to make larger changes to classes rather than just some number tunings. So, what does this mean? Remember how they redesigned some of the classes at the beginning of Legion? They're doing that all over again. Can you believe it? I feel like that's crazy. This is either gonna kill classes or make them better, but let's see what Blizzard has to offer before we make any judgment calls. This is what they said. The team looked at the talent rows, and there are some talents that are never worth considering. Thank God that they've said it. This is, oh, I'm so happy that they're on the right path. These talents may need tuning or redesign. The talents that 98% of players are taken may just need to be baked into the spec. Oh, that is so good. So talents and certain honor talent choices that everybody in the mother is taking might become passives or active abilities for the spec. Can you imagine Assassination Rogues running around with Exsanguinate as an ability that you just get, not as something you talent into? Oh, that would be crazy. They continue with, this patch will also allow the team to look at secondary stats and make them a little bit more balanced, so that anything but one specific stat isn't useless. And all of you that are doing raids and PvE, all of you know the struggle. Let's say you got a piece that 855, but it has really good stats. Then you get a piece at 860, but it got haste. As a rogue, I hate it, so then it actually is a DPS decrease for me. So they say if an item has higher item level, it should usually be an upgrade rather than having to worry about secondary stats making it a downgrade. Thank God. I am happy Blizzard has listened so far. I'm happy with the changes so far. Let's keep on reading. They said the team is also going to improve the feel of classes and add some utility to classes that had a little bit too much pruning. For example, only allowing survival hunters to have traps was a mistake. Other specs don't feel like a hunter when they don't have traps. Rogues that wish they had Shroud of Concealment will also be happy it will return in patch 7.1.5. So as rogues is a high possibility, we might get gouged for every single spec, we might get blind for assassination rogues. Of course there'll be some class redesigns and damage tunings and abilities that will be completely changed, but this is crazy. They are actually making some fun updates on players' feedback to some of the classes. I am very much excited to get onto the PTR of this and check this out as soon as possible. The patch updates for patch 7.1.5 go on to say that artifact knowledge catch-up mechanisms purchase levels without having to wait until level 10 or more, so you'll be able to purchase the artifact knowledge in some way or another through a catch-up mechanic, which is great for alts because most players are already at about a level 10 or so. So maybe if like your main character could buy those upgrades for an alt to speed up the process, I think that'd be kind of nice, because there is a lot to do when it comes to leveling and grinding, all that, and a lot of time locked wait time that takes a bit too long for you to be able to get an alt. And let's say you don't like your class that you play anymore, or let's say there's been some changes and you don't really agree with them and you think it's time to move on to a whole nother class. This will basically allow you to level another alt and be able to catch up to basically where you are at for some sort of mechanic where you are purchasing an artifact knowledge catch up. So you might be able to sacrifice some kind of a gold or some currency on your main in order to make sure that your alt becomes the main. So I think that's pretty exciting. And patch 7.1.5 is going in the PTR right after Blizz-Con. So you know what my videos are going to be about now, right? I'm going to be checking out all the rogue changes in patch 7.1.5. This is some exciting shit right there. I'm sorry, this is some exciting stuff. Blizzard, this is awesome. I'm not sure if I agree with all the changes Blizzard has done in the past, but this is great. The fact that they're taking another look at classes, even to the point where they are going to redesign how some of them play. Well, Blizzard has said also in the past, and I can't really find the article right now, but I've seen it through some posts here and there, and I've seen it through a bit of screenshots on the presentation. They said something along the lines of, we feel that we try to make spec identities rather than class identities. A class should still feel like a class of its own. A warrior, no matter what spec, should still feel like a warrior. But there should be also differences between a fury warrior and an arms warrior. There should be differences between an assassination rogue, subtlety rogue, and outlaw rogue. Hunters should be different, but they should still feel like hunters. Basically, from a PvP perspective, what this tells me is, Blizzard wants a class like a warrior or a warlock or a hunter, no matter what spec, to have the same utilities of a warrior or a warlock or a hunter. So that's basically what you're bringing to the table. You're bringing warrior utilities. But the way you choose to play, whether you choose to play fury, whether you choose to play arms, whether you choose to play whatever spec, those are the changes that shouldn't impact your gameplay. What should impact your gameplay is the class that you play. So let's say you want to play as Outlaw Rogue, Subtlety Rogue, Assassination Rogue. The team shouldn't care about which rogue spec you're playing. It should be about the fact that you're playing with a rogue, and then the player gets to decide which rogue spec they want to play and which rogue spec they want to perform as. So I think that's a cool idea. If Blizzard does stick to this, as I am, I guess, almost predicting right now, if Blizzard does stick to this model in particular, then I think we'll have a great expansion, and I think we'll have great patch 7.1.5. First of all, this does not feel like a minor change compared to the patch 6.1, if anybody remembers that. The selfie camera, wow, what a patch, Blizzard. Bad. But yeah, I think this patch is going to be great. I'm definitely excited for everything that's coming out. I'm excited for BlizzCon. I might be excited because I had a Monster Energy earlier, but this is basically one of the things that wakes me up and gets me very, very excited. And not like Blizzard and Legion was already exciting enough, but these changes are super freaking awesome. So guys, let me know what you think about all these changes for patch 7.1.5, and if you want me to check out these changes in great detail, I can check out all specs. I'm gonna check out Subtlety, I'm gonna check out Assassination, I'm gonna check out Outlaw. I want to see how rogues are doing and do as much of input as possible so we can make great specs and redesign them and do some changes and change some talents and whatnot, which are some of the things that I complain about rogues. Like, hey, some of these talents, honor talents or class talents could probably be changed, moved around. Some of them are never used, some of them are used all the time. So it's great to see that Blizzard is paying attention and are taking in player feedback, which is one of the best things a player in World of Warcraft is the happiest to hear. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think about everything in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.